The stars hung like scattered diamonds across the velvet expanse of space, their cold light casting faint reflections on the sleek hull of the alien vessel. Inside, corridors twisted and turned in organic patterns, pulsating with a soft bioluminescent glow that seemed to breathe in rhythm with the ship itself. The air carried an unusual tang, metallic yet sweet, a scent that spoke of worlds unknown and civilizations far older than humanity's brief flicker in the cosmos. Captain Elara Voss moved cautiously through these alien halls, her boots making barely a sound against the spongy floor beneath her feet. She was no stranger to danger. Years spent navigating hostile environments had honed her instincts to razor-sharp precision. Yet nothing could have prepared her for this moment. A face-to-face encounter with beings whose existence had long been relegated to myth and whispered tales among starry-eyed explorers. Elara's journey here began months ago when she intercepted a distress signal from deep within uncharted territory. It wasn't just any SOS. It bore markings consistent with ancient symbols found etched into artifacts discovered centuries earlier on Earth. These symbols were believed to belong to a race known only as the Whisperers, creatures said to possess knowledge beyond comprehension, capable of bending reality itself. Most dismissed them as mere legend, but not Elara. Her father, a renowned xenobiologist, had dedicated his life to proving their existence before disappearing mysteriously during one such expedition. This mission felt personal, almost faded. As she ventured deeper into the labyrinthine structure, every step echoed both physically and emotionally. Memories surfaced unbidden, late nights poring over dusty research papers, heated debates at academic conferences where skepticism often overshadowed curiosity, and finally, the hollow ache left by her father's absence. Each memory fueled her resolve, pushing aside fear with determination. Suddenly, a low hum resonated through the walls, growing louder until it enveloped her entirely. Lights shifted colors rapidly, bathing everything in hues of green and blue. Then, silence fell abruptly, leaving behind an eerie stillness. From ahead, shadows coalesced into form. A figure emerged, towering yet graceful, its body covered in shimmering scales that caught even the dimmest light. Its eyes glowed softly, twin orbs of wisdom and power. "You are the human warrior," came a voice, not spoken aloud but resonating directly within Elara's mind. "The rumors, they speak truly of you." Her heart pounded wildly, adrenaline surging through her veins. She swallowed hard, forcing herself to remain composed despite the overwhelming awe threatening to consume her. "I am Captain Elara Voss," she replied steadily, though internally marveling at how easily words formed under such surreal circumstances. The creature inclined its head slightly, acknowledging her introduction. "We have watched your kind evolve, struggle, triumph, and falter. Few amongst you carry the spirit we seek, the essence of true warriors bound by honor and courage." Elara felt a chill run down her spine. Was this why she had been drawn here? Had fate, or something greater, led her to this very point? Questions swirled relentlessly, each more pressing than the last. But before she could voice any, the being continued, its mental voice laced with reverence. "Your lineage is marked by those who dared challenge the unknown. Your father walked paths few would tread, seeking truths hidden from mortal eyes. And now, you stand before us, embodying the legacy he left unfinished." Tears pricked at the corners of Elara's eyes, blurring her vision momentarily. All these years, she thought she pursued answers solely for closure, to understand what happened to him. Now, standing amidst entities shrouded in mystery, she realized there might be more at stake than personal redemption. A gentle breeze swept through the corridor, carrying with it fragments of forgotten melodies, songs sung by civilizations lost to time. The alien queen extended a slender hand, inviting Elara closer. With hesitant steps, she approached, feeling the weight of destiny settle heavily upon her shoulders. "You will learn much here, young warrior," the queen whispered, her tone imbued with promise and warning alike. "But know this, knowledge comes at a price. Are you prepared to pay it?" Elara took a deep breath, steeling herself against whatever lay ahead. Whatever challenges awaited, whatever secrets needed uncovering, she knew one thing for certain: she couldn't turn back now. Not when truth loomed so tantalizingly close, wrapped in enigma and wonder. "I am ready," she declared firmly, meeting the glowing gaze of the alien queen without flinching. Ready or not, the path forward promised revelations that could alter the course of history, and perhaps redefine what it meant to be human. The alien queen regarded Alara with an intensity that seemed to pierce through her very soul. The luminescent scales along her elongated neck rippled gently, as if stirred by some unseen current. Around them, the chamber resonated with a symphony of subtle sounds, soft clicks, melodic hums, and distant echoes that intertwined like threads in an intricate tapestry of communication. Alara felt the vibrations reverberate through her chest, syncing with the rhythm of her heartbeat. "You carry scars," the queen's voice resonated in Alara's mind, not accusatory but probing, searching. "Not merely those etched into flesh, but deeper wounds buried within your spirit." Alara instinctively touched the faint scar above her left eyebrow, a remnant of a skirmish on a desolate moon years ago. Yet the queen's words reached beyond physical marks, delving into realms Alara had guarded fiercely. She hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Every battle leaves its mark," she admitted, her voice steady despite the turmoil churning inside her. "Some battles are fought with weapons, others, with memories." The queen tilted her head, her luminous eyes narrowing ever so slightly. "And yet, you continue to fight. Why do you persist, human warrior? What drives you to confront the unknown, to walk paths fraught with peril?" Alara's gaze dropped momentarily to the floor, her thoughts swirling like storm clouds. How could she articulate the fire that burned within her, the relentless drive that had propelled her across galaxies? She thought of her father's journals, filled with sketches of alien flora and cryptic notes about encounters with beings he could scarcely describe. She remembered the nights spent staring at the stars, wondering if he was out there somewhere, waiting to be found. But it was more than that, something primal, something she couldn't fully explain. "I fight because I must," she finally said, lifting her chin to meet the queen's piercing stare. "Because there are questions that demand answers, truths that refuse to remain buried. Because turning away feels like betrayal, not just to myself, but to everyone who has ever dared to dream of something greater." For a fleeting moment, the queen's expression softened, and Alara sensed a flicker of understanding pass between them. The air around them seemed to shimmer, charged with an energy that made her skin tingle. Then, without warning, images flooded Alara's mind, visions so vivid they felt tangible. She saw vast landscapes bathed in hues she couldn't name, skies ablaze with twin suns, oceans that pulsed with life unlike anything she'd ever encountered. She witnessed civilizations rising and falling, their stories written in constellations and whispered through winds that carried the scent of eternity. And then, she saw herself, not as she was now, but transformed. Her reflection stood amidst ruins, clad in armor forged from starlight, wielding a blade that glowed with an otherworldly light. In her eyes burned a determination so fierce it bordered on divine. The vision dissolved as quickly as it had come, leaving Alara breathless and shaken. "What was that?" she whispered, clutching her arms tightly around herself. "What did you show me?" The queen's lips parted, revealing rows of delicate, crystalline teeth that gleamed faintly in the shifting light. "A glimpse of potential," she replied, her voice layered with tones that resonated like chimes in a cathedral. "You stand at a crossroads, human warrior. The choices you make here will ripple across dimensions, shaping destinies beyond your comprehension." Alara's pulse quickened. She wanted to ask more, to demand clarity, but the weight of the queen's presence silenced her. Instead, she focused on steadying her breathing, grounding herself in the present moment. The alien queen observed her quietly, her movements fluid and deliberate, like water flowing over smooth stones. "You intrigue us," the queen continued after a pause, her tone softer now, almost contemplative. "Few humans possess the resilience to endure what you have endured. Fewer still retain the capacity to hope, to believe in possibilities unseen. Tell me, Alara Voss, do you trust yourself to wield the power required to fulfill your purpose?" Alara blinked, startled by the question. Trust herself? She had always relied on instinct, on the unyielding conviction that drove her forward. Yet, faced with the enormity of what lay ahead, doubt crept in like shadows lengthening at dusk. Could she truly shoulder the burden of such responsibility? What if she faltered, if she failed? "I don't know," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I can't turn away. Not now. Not when I'm this close." The queen's gaze intensified, pinning Alara in place. Courage is not the absence of fear, she intoned, her words echoing like thunder rolling across a valley. It is the willingness to act despite it. Remember this, warrior. The greatest battles are not fought with swords or shields, but within the chambers of your own heart. Before Elara could respond, the queen raised a hand, and the chamber shifted around them. The walls seemed to dissolve, replaced by a panorama of stars so dense they formed rivers of light stretching infinitely in all directions. Among them floated countless vessels, some sleek and metallic, others organic and pulsating with life. Each one radiated a unique energy signature, a testament to the diversity of life scattered throughout the universe. These are the echoes of those who have come before you, the queen explained, gesturing toward the celestial display. Warriors, seekers, dreamers, all united by a shared quest for understanding. Some succeeded, others perished. But each contributed to the grand tapestry of existence. Elara felt a lump rise in her throat as she gazed upon the spectacle. Somewhere among those ships, she knew, was her father's vessel, the one he had taken on his final journey. The thought brought tears to her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She clenched her fists, drawing strength from the memory of his unwavering curiosity, his insatiable thirst for discovery. "Why me?" she asked suddenly, her voice cracking under the weight of emotion. "Why was I chosen for this? There are others, smarter, stronger, braver." "Because you listen," the queen interrupted, her tone firm yet compassionate. "Because you see beyond the surface, hear whispers where others hear only silence. You embody balance, a rare quality among your kind. Passion tempered by reason, courage fortified by humility. These traits make you formidable, Elara Vos. Do not underestimate their worth." Elara swallowed hard, absorbing the queen's words. They settled deep within her, igniting a spark of resolve that pushed aside lingering doubts. She straightened her posture, meeting the queen's gaze with newfound clarity. "If this is my path," she said, her voice steady and resolute, "then guide me. Teach me what I need to know. I won't shy away from the challenges ahead." The queen inclined her head, a gesture of approval that sent warmth flooding through Elara's chest. "Very well," she murmured, her voice rich with promise. "Prepare yourself, human warrior. The trials awaiting you will test not only your strength but your spirit. But remember this, you are never alone. Even in the darkest void, there are whispers guiding you home." With that, the queen extended her hand once more, beckoning Elara to follow. As she stepped forward, the chamber transformed again, morphing into a winding pathway illuminated by floating orbs of light. Each orb pulsed rhythmically, casting shifting patterns on the walls that depicted scenes of triumph and tragedy, unity and division. Elara followed silently, her senses heightened, her mind racing with anticipation. Behind her, the alien queen's voice lingered like a haunting melody. "Embrace the whispers, Elara Vos. They hold the keys to unlocking the mysteries of the cosmos, and perhaps, the secrets of your own soul." As Elara traversed the ethereal pathway, guided by the luminescent orbs, she became acutely aware of the profound connection between her inner struggles and the cosmic forces surrounding her. Each step she took seemed to resonate with the universe's heartbeat, intertwining her personal journey with the vast tapestry of interstellar narratives. The orbs themselves began to emit a series of rhythmic pulses, each sequence distinct, forming patterns that mirrored her emotional state. When anxiety gripped her, the lights flickered erratically. When calm prevailed, they pulsed with soothing regularity. This synchronization was not merely visual but deeply visceral. Elara felt as though the very fabric of space-time adjusted to her presence, bending slightly to accommodate her passage. It was as if the universe recognized her quest, responding to her determination with subtle shifts in gravitational pulls and magnetic fields. The air thickened with an electric charge, crackling softly with each decision she made, reinforcing the idea that her choices held significance far beyond her immediate surroundings. The alien queen, walking beside her, paused occasionally to touch one of the orbs, causing it to flare brightly before dimming into a gentle glow. Each of these, she explained, her voice a harmonious blend of multiple frequencies, represents a nexus point, a moment where individual will intersect with universal law. Your actions, Elara, create ripples that extend into dimensions you cannot perceive. Ilara absorbed this revelation with a mixture of awe and trepidation. She realized that her battles were not isolated skirmishes but integral components of a larger cosmic conflict. The decisions she faced were not merely personal dilemmas but pivotal moments that could sway the balance of power across galaxies. This understanding weighed heavily on her, yet it also infused her with a sense of purpose that transcended her initial motivations. As they continued, the path led them to a chamber where the walls were adorned with holographic displays of various planets and star systems. Each display showed the ebb and flow of civilizations, their rises and falls depicted in vibrant colors and dynamic movements. Here, Ilara witnessed the cyclical nature of existence on a grand scale, empires expanding and collapsing, species evolving and going extinct, all underpinned by the same fundamental forces that governed her own life. The Queen gestured towards a particular display, focusing on a planet that shimmered with an unusual iridescence. "Observe," she commanded gently. "This world teeters on the brink of transformation. Its inhabitants possess the potential to ascend or descend, depending on the choices they make in the coming cycles. Your influence, though indirect, could tip the scales." Ilara watched as scenarios played out on the hologram, peaceful resolutions leading to prosperity, conflicts spiraling into chaos. She understood then that her role was not to dictate outcomes but to provide catalysts for change, nudging events towards paths of growth and enlightenment. The responsibility was immense, but so too was the opportunity to effect meaningful impact. In that moment, Ilara grasped the full scope of her mission. It was not about conquering or dominating. It was about facilitating evolution, both within herself and in the broader universe. Her internal battles, against fear, doubt, and despair, were microcosms of the external wars waged across the cosmos. By confronting her own demons, she empowered others to face theirs, creating a ripple effect that could lead to profound transformations. The Queen placed a hand on Ilara's shoulder, her touch surprisingly warm despite her alien physiology. "Remember, warrior, the universe does not operate in absolutes. Every action, every choice, contributes to the ongoing dance of creation and destruction. Your task is to ensure that the music remains harmonious, even amidst discord." With renewed vigor, Ilara nodded, feeling a surge of energy course through her veins. She was no longer just a seeker of truth or a bearer of legacy. She was a guardian of balance, a steward of cosmic harmony. As they resumed their journey, the orbs above pulsed in sync with her heartbeat, affirming her readiness to embrace whatever lay ahead. The path ahead widened into a vast amphitheater-like space, its ceiling lost in shadowy heights. The air thrummed with an anticipatory tension, charged particles dancing invisibly around them. Ilara's footsteps echoed loudly now, each sound reverberating off the curved walls that seemed to stretch endlessly outward. At the center of this colossal chamber stood a pedestal, atop which rested an artifact glowing with an inner light that pulsed in time with her own racing heart. "This is the Nexus core," the alien queen announced, her voice resonating with a solemn gravity that made Ilara's skin prickle. "It holds the collective wisdom of countless civilizations, distilled into a single point of infinite possibility." She gestured for Ilara to approach, her movements slow and deliberate, as if aware of the monumental significance of the moment. Ilara moved forward, her eyes locked onto the pulsating core. As she drew nearer, she felt an inexplicable pull, a magnetic force that seemed to emanate from the artifact itself. The closer she got, the more vivid the visions became. Flashes of distant worlds, faces of beings she had never met yet somehow recognized, snippets of languages spoken in tones both melodic and guttural. It was as though the core was reaching out, testing her, probing the depths of her resolve. "Place your hand upon it," the Queen instructed, her voice barely audible over the crescendo of sensations assaulting Ilara's senses. Hesitant but resolute, Ilara extended her arm, her fingers trembling slightly as they hovered just above the glowing surface. Taking a deep breath, she pressed her palm flat against the core. Instantly, a surge of energy coursed through her, jolting her body with an intensity that stole her breath. Images flooded her mind in rapid succession, entire lifetimes compressed into seconds. She saw herself standing amidst crumbling ruins, rallying survivors with words of hope. She witnessed her own hands crafting tools from alien materials, forging alliances with species whose names she couldn't pronounce. Each vision was accompanied by a kaleidoscope of emotions: pride, sorrow, triumph, loss, all blending into a maelstrom that threatened to overwhelm her. Through the chaos, the Queen's voice cut through like a beacon, steady and reassuring. Focus, Ilara. Channel the energy. Let it guide you, not consume you. Summoning every ounce of willpower, Ilara concentrated on steadying her breathing, grounding herself in the present moment. Slowly, the torrent of images began to subside, replaced by a singular, crystalline clarity. She understood now what the core demanded of her, not submission, but partnership. It sought to merge with her consciousness, to become an extension of her being rather than a separate entity imposing its will. As the fusion deepened, Ilara felt her perception expand exponentially. Time dilated, allowing her to perceive events unfolding across light years as if they were happening in real time. She sensed the interconnectedness of all things, the delicate web of cause and effect binding galaxies together. With this newfound awareness came an acute understanding of the stakes involved, not just for her, but for countless others whose fates intertwined with hers. "You are ready," the queen declared, her tone imbued with a mixture of pride and caution. "But beware, warrior. Such power carries great responsibility. Use it wisely, for the consequences of misuse could unravel realities." Ilara withdrew her hand, the core's glow dimming slightly as if acknowledging her mastery over its energies. She turned to face the queen, her expression a blend of awe and determination. "I understand," she said, her voice firm despite the whirlwind of emotions still swirling within her. "I won't falter." The queen nodded approvingly, then gestured toward the far end of the chamber. "There lies your next trial. A portal awaits, leading to a realm where time flows differently. Within, you will confront echoes of your past, present, and future selves. Only by reconciling these facets can you fully harness the core's potential." Without hesitation, Ilara strode toward the indicated area, her footsteps echoing with renewed purpose. As she approached, the air shimmered, coalescing into a swirling vortex of colors and lights. The portal pulsed invitingly, its edges rippling like liquid glass. Pausing briefly at the threshold, Ilara glanced back at the queen, who offered a final nod of encouragement. Taking a deep breath, Ilara stepped through the portal, the world around her dissolving into a cascade of sensations. She found herself in a dreamscape-like environment, where landscapes shifted seamlessly from lush forests to barren deserts, from bustling cities to silent voids. Figures materialized around her, versions of herself at different stages of life, each bearing witness to pivotal moments that had shaped her journey. A younger Ilara, wide-eyed and full of wonder, stood beside an older version, weathered but wise. Another iteration, clad in battle-worn armor, exchanged knowing glances with a serene incarnation meditating beneath a starlit sky. Together, they formed a circle, their gazes converging on the central Ilara, who felt the weight of their collective expectations. "Who are you?" the armored figure demanded, her voice sharp and challenging. "I am all of you," Ilara replied, her voice steady despite the surreal nature of the encounter. "And none of you. I am the sum of our experiences, the culmination of every choice we've made." The figures nodded in unison, their forms beginning to blur and merge until only one remained, a composite representation embodying the essence of Ilara's multifaceted identity. This unified self regarded her with eyes that held the wisdom of ages, yet sparkled with the fire of youth. To wield the nexus core, the amalgamated figure intoned, you must first reconcile the contradictions within. Embrace the duality of strength and vulnerability, ambition and humility, action and reflection. Only then can you navigate the complexities of the cosmos. Ilara reached out, clasping hands with her unified self. A surge of warmth flowed between them, sealing the bond and solidifying her resolve. As the dreamscape faded, she emerged back in the chamber, the portal closing behind her with a soft sigh. The alien queen awaited her return, her expression unreadable yet tinged with satisfaction. "You have taken the first step, warrior. But the journey is far from over. Prepare yourself, for greater trials lie ahead." Ilara nodded, her spirit buoyed by the knowledge that she was no longer alone in this odyssey. With the Nexus Core's power coursing through her veins and the lessons of her fragmented selves guiding her path, she stood poised to face whatever challenges awaited, ready to shape destinies and rewrite the stars themselves. The alien queen's words hung in the air like a prelude to an inevitable storm. Ilara stood still for a moment, absorbing the gravity of what lay ahead. Her body thrummed with the energy of the Nexus Core, its power now intertwined with her very essence. Yet, despite the newfound strength coursing through her veins, she felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her shoulders. The trials were far from over, and the stakes grew higher with each passing heartbeat. Greater trials? Ilara asked, her voice steady but tinged with unease. She glanced at the queen, whose luminous eyes seemed to pierce through time itself, as if she could already see the outcomes of battles yet fought. What must I face next? The queen tilted her head slightly, her crystalline teeth catching the faint glow of the chamber's bioluminescent walls. You will soon encounter adversaries who seek to disrupt the balance you strive to protect, she said cryptically. They are not bound by morality or reason. Their existence is rooted in chaos, feeding off discord and destruction. To confront them, you must first understand their origins, and your connection to them. Ilara frowned, her mind racing. Connection. She had always seen herself as separate from such forces, someone fighting against entropy rather than contributing to it. But deep within her chest, a flicker of doubt ignited. Was there something within her that resonated with these agents of chaos? Had her own struggles, her moments of despair and anger, unknowingly aligned her with darker energies? Before she could press further, the chamber began to shift once more. The walls dissolved into swirling patterns of light and shadow, forming a new path that stretched endlessly before them. This time, however, the air carried a different sensation, a coldness that seeped into Ilara's bones, accompanied by whispers that sounded less like guidance and more like warnings. "Follow me," the queen urged, her tone urgent yet calm. "We must reach the veil of reflection before they find us." Without hesitation, Ilara obeyed, her boots pounding against the spongy floor as they moved swiftly along the corridor. Behind them, the whispers grew louder, coalescing into distinct voices that echoed with malice and mockery. Shadows danced along the edges of her vision, taking shapes that resembled twisted versions of beings she had encountered before. Aliens distorted into grotesque forms, their glowing eyes filled with hatred. "They're coming," Ilara muttered under her breath, gripping the hilt of the blade gifted to her earlier by the queen. Its surface shimmered faintly, responding to her rising tension. "Yes," the queen confirmed, her movements fluid and unhurried despite the growing threat. "But remember, warrior, fear amplifies their strength. You must remain centered, anchored in your purpose." As they reached the end of the corridor, the space opened up into a vast, circular arena bathed in an eerie silver light. At its center floated a translucent barrier, the veil of reflection. It shimmered like liquid mercury, rippling gently as though alive. Beyond it, Ilara could make out fragmented images of worlds she recognized and others entirely alien. Some showed thriving civilizations, while others depicted barren wastelands consumed by ruin. "This is where you will face your true test," the queen explained, stepping aside to allow Ilara to approach the veil. "It does not merely reflect your image, it reveals your soul. And within your soul lies the key to defeating those who pursue you." Ilara hesitated, staring at the veil with a mixture of apprehension and resolve. She knew this was no ordinary trial. Whatever awaited her beyond the shimmering barrier would challenge every aspect of her being. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward, her hand reaching out toward the cool, reflective surface. The moment her fingers touched the veil, the world around her dissolved into darkness. For a brief instant, she felt herself falling, weightless and disoriented. Then, abruptly, she landed on solid ground, surrounded by a landscape that defied logic. The sky above churned with storms of violet and gold, lightning crackling across the horizon. Beneath her feet stretched a field of obsidian shards, each one reflecting fragments of memories, her own and those of countless others. From the shadows emerged figures cloaked in darkness, their faces obscured but their intentions clear. They radiated hostility, their presence suffocating. One by one, they advanced, encircling her until escape seemed impossible. "You cannot win," hissed one of the figures, its voice layered with echoes that reverberated painfully in her skull. "Your efforts are futile. Balance is an illusion, and order is a lie." Ilara tightened her grip on her blade, her heart pounding furiously. She wanted to lash out, to fight back with everything she had, but the queen's warning echoed in her mind. Fear would only empower them. Instead, she closed her eyes, focusing inward. She recalled the lessons learned during her journey, the importance of listening, of understanding, of embracing both light and shadow within herself. When she opened her eyes again, the figures paused, their advance faltering. Their forms wavered, becoming less solid, as if her newfound clarity disrupted their hold on reality. Slowly, she raised her blade, not to strike, but to channel the energy of the nexus core. A brilliant beam of light erupted from the weapon, piercing through the darkness and illuminating the truth hidden beneath their menacing facades. To her astonishment, the figures began to transform. Their cloaks fell away, revealing individuals who looked eerily familiar, reflections of herself at various points in her life, each burdened by pain, regret, or unresolved conflict. These weren't external enemies. They were manifestations of her inner turmoil, fragments of her psyche given form. "I see you," Ilara whispered, lowering her blade. Her voice softened, carrying compassion rather than hostility. "I understand why you're here. But you don't have to stay trapped in this cycle. We can heal together." One by one, the figures approached her, their expressions shifting from anger to vulnerability. As they touched her outstretched hand, they dissolved into streams of light, merging back into her being. With each integration, she felt a piece of herself fall into place, restoring balance and harmony. Finally, only one figure remained, a towering silhouette shrouded in shadow. Unlike the others, it did not waver or weaken. Its gaze locked onto hers, burning with defiance. "You think acceptance will save you?" it snarled, its voice deeper and more resonant than the rest. "I am not so easily subdued." Ilara recognized this presence immediately. It was the part of her that clung to fear, to doubt, to the belief that she wasn't strong enough to carry the weight of her mission. This was the core of her resistance, the final barrier standing between her and complete unity. Instead of raising her blade, she extended her empty hand. "You're right," she admitted, her voice trembling but sincere. "I'm afraid. I've been afraid this whole time. But I won't let fear control me anymore. I choose to trust myself, to trust the universe." For a long moment, the figure hesitated, its massive form wavering uncertainly. Then, with a deafening roar, it lunged toward her. But instead of striking, it collided with her chest, dissolving into a flood of warmth that spread throughout her body. Tears streamed down her face as she embraced the last fragment of herself, feeling whole for the first time in her life. The battlefield vanished, replaced by the serene expanse of the arena. The veil of reflection shimmered softly behind her, its surface now calm and unbroken. Standing beside it was the alien queen, her expression unreadable but her posture relaxed. "You have done well, human warrior," the queen said, her mental voice filled with quiet admiration. "Few possess the courage to confront their deepest fears and emerge victorious. You have proven yourself worthy of wielding the nexus core." Ilara nodded, though exhaustion weighed heavily on her limbs. She looked down at her hands, which still glowed faintly with residual energy. "What happens now?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The queen gestured toward the veil. "Step through. Your journey is far from over, but you are ready to face what lies ahead. Trust in the wisdom you have gained, and remember, the whispers of the cosmos will always guide you home." With a final glance at the queen, Ilara turned and walked toward the veil. As she passed through its shimmering surface, she felt herself lifted into a realm of infinite possibility. Stars swirled around her, constellations forming and dissolving like brushstrokes on a cosmic canvas. In the distance, she saw flashes of civilizations rising and falling, stories unfolding across galaxies. And amidst it all, she heard the whispers, the same voices that had guided her since the beginning, calling her name with reverence and hope. "The human warrior has awakened," they murmured, their tones blending into a symphony of promise. "The balance is restored." Ilara smiled, her spirit alight with purpose. Whatever challenges awaited, she would meet them head-on, armed with the knowledge that she was never truly alone. For in the vast expanse of the universe, the whispers of destiny would forever echo, guiding her toward the light.